There's something most men don't realize. When a woman gives her body to you in the most intimate way, she's not just showing you pleasure, she's revealing her truth. Her desires, her trauma, her control patterns, her boundaries, or lack of them, are all right there between the sheets. But we've been taught to see sex like it's just another casual act. Swipe, match, vibe, and go. But what if I told you that the way she chooses to have sex can tell you exactly who she is, if you'll pay attention? This is not a video to shame women. This is a video to awaken men, especially the emotionally lost men who keep ending up with women who confuse lust with love, who mistakes submission for attention, who gives their heart to a woman just because she gave her body. You need to understand something. Sex is a language, and some women are speaking about control, manipulation, and unresolved trauma through it. So, if you're a man searching for something deeper, real love, emotional connection, and spiritual alignment, you cannot ignore this. Because the truth is, some women are not in that bed to love you. They're there to dominate you, to test your power, to drain your essence, and if you don't know how to read the signs, you will fall in love with a weapon designed to break you. Let me tell you exactly what to watch out for before it's too late. You know, a lot of men think they're in control just because they're the ones on top in life. Maybe you've built a business, maybe you've got status, maybe you walk into rooms and people respect you. But let me ask you something. What happens when you're behind closed doors with a woman who rides you like she owns your soul? Do you feel like a king or a servant to her desire? You see, what many men don't realize is that the battlefield of power is not just out there in the boardroom or on the streets. It's also in the bedroom. And some women know that. Oh, they know it well. That's why they lead the dance. They take the top, not just physically, but psychologically. They guide the rhythm, they control the pace, they manipulate the pleasure until you lose yourself in the moment. And what's worse, you don't even realize you've surrendered because your body feels good, but your mind is being rewired. That woman who grabs control so boldly, it's not always about sexual confidence. Sometimes it's about emotional dominance. She's trying to see if you'll give up your frame, if you'll follow her without thinking, if you'll let her become the source of your dopamine, your affection, your emotional anchor. And you think you're just having fun. But brother, if you lose your power there, you'll lose it everywhere else. Because what happens in the bedroom doesn't stay there. It echoes into your identity. There's a difference between a woman who meets you in intimacy and one who tests you through it. And here's the truth a lot of men miss. If she's always the one initiating, leading, pushing, controlling in bed, and you follow her like a puppy without resistance, she stops respecting you. Not because you're weak, but because you don't know when to lead. And a woman who doesn't respect you will never love you. She might admire your body, she might crave your energy, but she won't follow your leadership, not in life. Not in love, Al, you man doesn't just lead in public. He leads in private. That doesn't mean being forceful. It means being rooted, present, unshakable, even when she's doing everything to take you off your game. You see, the real test isn't how good you are in bed. It's how centered you remain while pleasure tries to steal your power. That's the test, and too many of you are failing it. You cannot give your heart to a woman who uses intimacy to gain control. Because once she knows she can lead you there, she'll lead you everywhere into confusion, into emotional addiction, into self-betrayal. And then you'll wake up wondering why she doesn't call back, why she pulls away, why you feel empty. It's because you were never the man in that room. You were the boy trying to be chosen. But brother, it's time to stand up everywhere. Even in bed, your leadership doesn't stop when the lights go off. It begins there. You know, some of the saddest moments I've seen in relationships don't come from the arguments. They don't even come from the breakups. They come from the moments when a man thinks he's finally found a woman who gives him everything. only to realize later she was never really there. And one of the most dangerous lies men fall for is this: she's so submissive. She lets me do whatever I want in bed. She must really love me. No, baby. That's not love. Sometimes that's deep pain disguised as obedience. Let's talk about the woman who always wants to be in the position where she can't see you. The one who turns her back, arches herself perfectly, and says, "Take me however you want." And you think that's submission. You think that's loyalty. You think that's a dream, but I need you to listen deeper. Because there's a world of difference between a woman who submits from love and trust and a woman who submits because she's emotionally absent. Some women don't give themselves because they're open. They give themselves because they're hollow. And there's a difference. When a woman constantly wants to disappear into that position, when she doesn't want eye contact, when she avoids any act that requires emotional connection, that's not just preference, it's pain. It's her saying, "Please don't look too close. Don't see what's broken. Don't touch what's sensitive. Just use the body, leave the soul alone." And most men fall right into that trap. You think you're being honored, you think you're being trusted, but the truth is you're just a placeholder. You're the next guy in a long line of men who were never meant to stay because she never intended to be seen. And if you're not emotionally awake, you'll confuse her physical openness for emotional availability. You'll think she must feel safe with me, but no, she doesn't. She just knows how to numb herself. A woman who disappears in bed has likely disappeared from herself, and that's not who you build with. That's not who you open your heart to, because no matter how good the act feels in the moment, you will always walk away feeling emptier, like something sacred was missing. And that's because it was connection, safety, vulnerability, intimacy, all gone, all absent, all avoided. You need to stop thinking that every woman who gives you her body is giving you her love. She's not. Some women are trained to perform pleasure because that's the only way they think they're worth anything. And if you're not discerning, if you're not emotionally grounded, you will mistake her performance for passion. And you'll pour yourself into a woman who doesn't even know how to hold herself. So if she never wants to look you in the eyes, if she always wants to be taken without connection, if she only knows how to give herself through silence and surrender, ask why. Ask what she's hiding, and more importantly, ask if you're the man who's brave enough to walk away from a beautiful body when the soul behind it is missing. Because your heart deserves more than a woman who just wants to be used. You deserve someone who wants to be seen. There's a certain kind of woman that walks into your life and instantly pulls you in. She's magnetic, confident, bold. She stares right through you like she's known your soul for years. And when it comes to the bedroom, she doesn't wait for you to lead. She flips the switch. She turns the lights on. She pulls out the mirror, and just like that you're in her world now. She wants to be watched. She wants the camera rolling. She wants to see herself while she's with you. But here's what most men don't understand. It's not about you. It was never about you. She's not making love. She's performing. She's not connecting with your spirit. She's obsessed with her own reflection and you. You're just the stage. You're just the set for her one-woman show. Now listen, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with confidence in the bedroom. But when a woman needs an audience to feel worthy, you need to pause. Because that's not confidence, that's insecurity dressed in glam, that's validation addiction, that's a woman who doesn't know how to feel beautiful unless someone's watching. And the saddest part, most men confuse that energy for real intimacy. You think you've found the woman who's finally free. Wild, expressive, down for anything. But what you've really found is someone who's afraid to be real. Because real requires stillness, real requires silence, real requires vulnerability, and that mirror. That camera, that spotlight, it protects her from all of that. It creates a distance, a barrier, a buffer between her and the truth of herself. She knows exactly how to moan, so you feel like a king. She knows how to move, so you believe you're the best she's ever had. But it's all curated, it's all calculated, and you're not loving her. You're loving her image, her mask, her projection, and the moment you start needing that performance to feel close to her, you're already lost. Because, let me tell you something real, a woman who truly wants you doesn't need mirrors. She needs presence. She doesn't care how she looks in the moment, she cares how you feel. She doesn't want to perform, she wants to surrender. And if you're still chasing women who need an audience to feel alive, you're not chasing connection, you're chasing illusion. And I get it, the illusion feels good. It strokes your ego, it makes you feel wanted, but ego is not love. And when the show ends, when the mirror cracks, when the cameras stop rolling, what's left? Nothing. Because you never built something real. So if you're with a woman who needs to be watched more than she wants to be known, ask yourself, are you in love with her or with the way she performs for you? Because real connection doesn't come with a mirror. It comes with eye contact, stillness, emotional safety. And if she can't give you that, no matter how good she looks, she's not the one you build with. She's just the one you watched. There's a kind of woman that will leave a man completely confused, not because she lies, not because she cheats, but because she gives everything. She says all the right things, she cooks, she cleans, she gives you the best nights of your life. She's eager, available, always asking, "What do you want, baby? How can I please you?" And you, as a man, you feel like you've won the lottery. But what you don't see is that sometimes all that giving is a mask, a way to keep you from seeing the truth, that she's not giving from fullness, she's giving from fear. You see, some women learn very early in life that the only way to keep a man is to serve him, please him, do whatever he says, no matter how she feels, and to the untrained eye it looks like love. It looks like commitment, but it's not. It's survival, it's performance, it's a strategy to not be abandoned. A woman who gives her body before she gives her truth is not loving you, she's trying to keep you, she's trying to earn you. And that's the part most men miss, because let's be honest, when a woman makes you feel like a king in bed, it's hard to stop and ask, does she actually care about my heart? But you need to ask. Because a woman who truly cares won't just chase your pleasure, she'll care about your peace, she'll care about your mind, your emotions, your purpose, your growth, not just how loud you moaned last night. If she's always asking how she can please you, but never once asks how you're doing, if she gives you her body on demand, but never initiates a conversation about your dreams, your stress, your soul, then you're not in a relationship. You're in a transaction. You give her attention, she gives you access. And while that might feel good for a while, it's not going to last, because real men, men of substance, men of calling, eventually get tired of being worshipped and start craving being understood. And here's the thing, that kind of woman, the one who's always pleasing, she's not evil, she's just scared. Scared that if she stops performing, she won't be loved. Scared that if she sets a boundary, you'll leave. So she sacrifices her truth just to keep your presence. But you, as a you man, you need to be wise enough to see it, and strong enough not to exploit it. Because if you build your relationship on her desperation, you'll destroy both of you. You'll drain her and never feel fulfilled yourself. Because no matter how much she gives you, you'll never feel connected, only served, and that's not love. That's dependency dressed as devotion. So ask yourself, brother, is she giving because she loves you, or because she's afraid of losing you? Real love doesn't beg. It doesn't bend over backwards to survive. It stands, it breathes, it honors. And if she can't meet you there, don't confuse her effort with emotional safety. Choose peace over performance. Every time, there's this idea going around that the more aggressive a woman is, the more confident she must be. That if she walks up to you bold, says exactly what she wants, takes the lead in the bedroom, talks dirty, pulls your belt off before you can even think, she must be sexually free, empowered, liberated. But let me tell you something most men don't understand. Sometimes the loudest woman in the room is the one hiding the deepest silence inside. That overly aggressive woman, the one who seems like she's always down for anything, who leads every conversation with sexual innuendo, who acts like she's so in control. It's not always power you're witnessing. Sometimes it's fear, trauma, emotional shutdown, because real confidence doesn't need to dominate. It doesn't need to overwhelm. It doesn't need to be the loudest. Real confidence is calm, centered, secure. It doesn't seek attention, it attracts it naturally. But the woman who constantly performs boldness in the bedroom, she's often performing because she doesn't want to feel. She doesn't want to open up. She doesn't want to let anyone close enough to see the real her. So what does she do? She leads, she controls. She makes sure everything moves fast so that nothing gets deep. And you, if you're not grounded, you'll fall for it. You'll think, wow, she's so into me. But she's not into you. She's into escaping herself. She's using sex not as a way to bond, but as a way to disappear. And here's where it gets dangerous. Most men confuse that level of boldness with affection. You think the woman who's wild in bed must love you more than the quiet one who takes her time. But brother, it's not about volume, it's about vulnerability. If a woman can't slow down long enough to be still with you, to look you in the eye, to let you in emotionally, she's not free. She's running from you, yes, but mostly from herself. And you cannot build something real with a woman who's emotionally unavailable even if she's physically giving you everything. Because the intimacy will always feel empty. You'll leave those nights feeling drained, even if your body says it was good. Your soul will know something's off. Something's missing. That's the cost of entertaining women who lead with aggression instead of authenticity. You become a witness to their pain, but never a partner in their healing. And unless you're aware, you'll try to fix her. Or worse, fall in love with the mask she wears and wonder why the connection never feels safe, never feels deep. So let me tell you this, the next time a woman comes at you hard, fast, and loud, don't be impressed. Be observant, ask yourself, is this power or protection? Is she connecting or deflecting? Because a woman who truly wants you won't just take over. She'll meet you, she'll let you lead, she'll be present, not performative, and that, my brother, is the woman worth waiting for. Sex is not just physical. It never has been. It's spiritual, it's emotional, it's psychological. And yet, somehow, in today's culture, we've turned it into this casual, numb, mechanical act where people connect bodies but never souls. And what's worse is that too many men are falling for the show, the performance, the fantasy, and they forget that every time a woman gives herself to you, she's telling you a story. She's not just expressing desire, she's reflecting her inner world, the way she moves, the way she touches. The way she responds, it's all a mirror. And if you're really paying attention, you'll see who she is without her ever having to say a word. But most men don't look into that mirror. They close their eyes and get lost in the pleasure. They ignore the signs, the red flags, the emotional silences, because they're chasing the next high. But here's the truth, and I need you to hear this with your soul, not your ego. A woman's sexual behavior isn't random. It's revealing. Her sex tells you what she values, what she's been through, what she fears, what she hopes for. And if you're just chasing curves and moans, you're missing the message. Some women use sex as a tool. Some use it as a test. Others use it as a cry for help. And a few, very few, use it as an offering of love, trust, and real connection. The question is, do you know the difference? Can you feel the difference? Because when you can, your whole approach to women will change. You'll stop being impressed by how freaky she is, and you'll start asking, does she respect herself when the lights come back on? You'll stop chasing the one who performs the best in bed and start craving the one who brings you peace afterward. You'll stop being a slave to her rhythm, and you'll start asking if the rhythm leads to anything real: stability, growth, partnership, purpose. Too many men give their hearts to women who only give their bodies, and then they wonder why they feel empty afterward. It's because sex isn't meant to be a mask, it's a mirror. It's supposed to reflect the connection you have, not cover up the lack of one. And if every time you sleep with her you feel more confused, more drained, more anxious, that's your mirror talking to you. That's your soul begging you to look deeper. So if you're serious about your life, your calling, your peace, you've got to stop making decisions based on performance. Start asking better questions. Start paying attention, because the way she loves you in bed is how she'll love you in life. Is it thoughtful? Is it safe? Is it honest? Or is it chaotic, manipulative, shallow? Val, you man doesn't get blinded by lust. He sees with clarity. He listens with more than his ears, and he never lets a woman's performance distract him from her pattern. Because in the end, the mirror never lies. The question is, are you brave enough to look? So here you are, listening because something in your soul whispered, pay attention. And I need you to know this: what you just heard wasn't about women. It was about you, about how easily you give your heart to someone who hasn't even earned your honesty, about how you confuse noise for love, chaos for passion, performance for connection. Brother, this world is not going to teach you how to protect your soul. It will only reward you when you give it away, when you become numb, addicted, weak, but not you, not anymore. You are not a toy to be played with. You are not a body to be used. You are not a boy to be led by lust. You are a man, and a man does not hand over his peace just because she's good in bed. A man does not confuse pleasure with purpose. A man watches, feels, reads, and when something feels off, even when it looks good, he walks away because he knows that protecting his soul is worth more than stroking his ego. So let me ask you, how many more times are you going to ignore the mirror? How many more nights will you spend with women who drain your spirit? How many more times will you confuse her surrender for sincerity? You're not crazy for wanting more. You're not weak for craving peace. You're not alone in feeling used. And if this message reached you, then I need you to speak. Subscribe to this channel, comment your truth, share this with a brother who needs to hear it, because men like you, the ones who feel too deeply to keep pretending, you're not soft, you're sacred, and it's time you started living like it. I see you, now see yourself. We rise together. Until next time, stay wise, stay whole, stay awake.